It's fall. We're gonna drink fall beers. I'm gonna wear a jacket, even if it kills me.
Bockslider, O'Hanrahan's Curse, Rogue Dead Guy, a blower.
I'm in my hot dad era.
I pulled all my flannel out this weekend.
This is Season Whisperer.
Yeah.
Thanks to this episode's sponsor, Carter's Collective Fine Jewelry. With chains starting as low as $150, no matter your budget, you can get your swag on, work on your pieces of flair in the store, or if you've had too many garage beers, you can shop from home at carterscollectivefeinejewelry.com. Click the link below to get started to make yourself, a significant other, a friend of yours feel as special as they really are. Thanks, babe.
I kind of like it shining off the chrome there.
Yeah, that's shiny.
Mm-hmm.
I wore a white shirt. I rarely do that on camera. Try and hide the pounds. The 36-year-old. It's harder to keep the weight off.
You're looking good these days, man. Those arms are looking great.
The arms. I'm not worried about the arms. It's the belly. It's the belly that gets me. That's why
if you make your arms big enough, the belly doesn't even matter. That's a thing.
Look at this hand and you don't see what this hand's doing.
Slide a hand.
That's why I'm excited about this time of year, because I can wear a jacket and kind of, you know, like I can still wear the white. And I'm in my hot dad era.
I pulled all my flannel out this weekend because I'm hoping that it's time to start wearing some of it. Yeah. I'm a big jacket guy. I love jackets too.
Everyone knows it.
I love jackets, but I don't live in a place that lets me flex all my jackets.
Dude,
I have too many jackets.
Yeah,
and there's limited times to wear them. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Well, I'm the same way. I'll force wearing a jacket like right now. Yeah. I don't need to be wearing a jacket. It's not cold. I'm probably gonna sweat by the end of this, but I don't care. Yeah. It's fall. We're gonna drink fall beers. I'm gonna wear a jacket, even if it kills me.
Well, I'm glad you want to drink fall beers, because we're definitely going to drink some fall beers today.
I'm ready.
I think it was last episode we were talking about fest beer, and we were like, it smells like fall. Fall's coming. And you were like, what is wrong with this guy? And that just put me in the mood. I was like, look, episode 2, we're going to really get into some fall beers.
Episode 2, the Season Whisperer.
The Season Whisperer. Absolutely.
Yeah, bring it on. What we got?
All right. So, like I said, we're talking about fall beers today.
Ooh.
This is Bockslider. All right. So this is some Texas boys out of here. This is Martin House Brewing Company. So before I get into what Bockslider is, and before we open and taste it, I do want to say this is the official beer of the Toadies.
Okay.
Like the band Toadies.
Oh, okay.
Remember when you used to be cool?
Yeah.
When I used to be cool?
Allegedly it happened.
That song, I think, gets mixed reviews these days. It's a little, what was it, behind the boathouse? You know what song I'm talking about? The Toadies. Give it up to me. No.
We listened to jazz in my house.
Edit that out.
All right, and then I think last time I didn't explain, we have the mics on, so I was trying to get the crispy. That's the ASMR.
So, Bockslider 5.6. You might be asking yourself, what is a Bock? So, a Bock is like a burly lager.
Okay.
So, you know, you think of ales and you think of lagers, and most of the time you think of lagers, you're thinking of like light lagers, Vienna lagers, Pilsners, the crispy boys. A Bock is basically like a big bad version of what this is. And
yeah.
These are perfect vehicles to get you in the fall mood here.
This tastes like a jacket.
And that's actually like really, really nice. So, you know, you kind of get you get a really nice clean finish on that. It's got that nice like lager yeast fermentation there. It's nice and clean. And then it probably has just enough specialty malts in there. That's where you're getting like color and the flavor. So for me, when I like drink this, I'm getting a little bit of hop, but I'm really just getting a lot of that nice maltiness. So I would say even like maybe raisins, caramel, some toastiness kind of there. Got a really nice like color here.
Yeah. So it's
that's just delicious.
It's darker. I think most people, when they see a darker beer, they go, they run for cover. They think it's going to be mealy and it's going to hang out on your tongue.
Yeah.
Because I'm that way. I go, you know, I'm very careful about the darker beers that I drink. How do you make it crisp on the end where I take a sip and I go, okay, this is complex, but the crushability factor is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because it is crisp. How do you do that in the brewing process?
So how we're going to go about that is basically we're going to add our grains in, and we're basically kind of balancing out where this beer is going to finish out at the end of the day as far as our gravity. Gravity is just like a fancy term that brewers use. It basically describes how much sugar's left in the beer.
It's also a John Mayer song.
Can we play that real quick?
No, for copyright reasons.
Then we're not.
I just had to bleep out what I sang.
Yeah.
John Mayer's very
the
litigious.
Toadies and John Mayer are coming after us, episode 2.
Yeah.
So yeast eats the sugars. We get the sugars from our grains. There's starch in the grains. We convert that starch to sugar via hot water. Following? This is why this is important. So later on, we're going to add our yeast to that. That yeast is going to eat the sugar, the simple chain sugars. The byproduct of that is alcohol. That's why beers that have more alcohol cost more money, because you had to have more raw ingredients, more grain in that beer to get it up.
Whew. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So, essentially you've got your grain gets broken down in 2 categories. You have base grain, which that's where you get the bulk of your simple sugars from to get your alcohol. And then you have what we call specialty grains, caramel malts, crystal malts. All the beers that we're going to be tasting today probably look a little scarier than they actually are. So, when you're looking at this beer, you're saying, is that going to be sweet? Is that going to be scary? And then you take a sip of it and you're like, well, that's just actually like really nice. It's really kind of like got a pop on the end, a nice crispness. Finish is really clean. It doesn't sit on your tongue with a bunch of like sticky sweetness.
Can confirm.
Yeah,
it's nice.
So you basically just, at this point, we're building in some specialty malts. Like I said, from that specialty malt, I'm getting like some toasted rye bread, maybe some raisins, a little bit of like caramel going on there. And then you're just kind of using some hops to balance that out. Being that this is a Bock style, like I said, that's a type of lager that's a little bit stronger. When you say stronger, it's more intense flavor-wise. You kind of have to have a little bit more hop in this product to kind of balance out some of that malt sweetness. But overall, this is a really drinkable, very balanced beer.
Shouts out to Martin House Brewing Company in Fort Worth, Texas. I was actually born in Denton, which is very close to Dallas. So, maybe that's part of... I'm feeling a connection to the beer.
A deep-seated connection there?
I mean, we talked about the show getting meta. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's more meta than energy going across state lines based on where I was born? This is in my star chart that I would like this beer.
No doubt. I'm going to look up what that is later.
You can bank on the results of your star chart for sure. Yeah, man, this is good. I'm trying to think what it's similar to. It's kind of like almost a Newcastle ale-y vibe, but cleaner.
Yeah,
and lighter.
That's a really good beer to kind of bring up, because they both share this, like, it's almost this nutty kind of like character flavor that's kind of in there.
Yeah.
So, whether it's like a nut brown or like a Newcastle ale or this kind of Bock, they're kind of sharing some similarities as far as some of that fall flavor, and that nut flavor is kind of like through all those for sure.
No one will call you nutty for liking this beer, though.
No doubt. This is a good beer. I'm not mad about this.
Cheers. Yeah, we hadn't even cheers yet.
Cheers. What are we doing?
Fuck if I know. All right, what else you got?
From some boys just north to us. And when I say boys, like, I'm sure there's girls that work at all these places too. I don't want anybody to get upset with me.
Yeah, we're inclusive here on the show.
Boys and girls. So this is from our friends up in Key City, up in Vicksburg. O'Hanrahan's Curse. This is an Irish red ale.
How did you know? You know I love Irish red ale.
I know. I made a note from the last show and remember that you said you liked red ales.
Well, like your dad, whatever beer he drank was the first beer. Let it happen.
Perfect.
For me, it was Killian's Irish Red. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah. So kind of staying with our fall theme, we've got beers that maybe look a little scarier than they actually are. We're not into stout and porter territory yet. We're kind of sticking with the more red and brown colored beers. Ooh. So Irish Red Ale, they specifically say on their website this was This was inspired by time spent in Ireland, where the Irish red ale has its strongest roots.
Not to brag, but they've been there.
Yep. So we are sitting at 5.8 on the ABV on this, so still fairly drinkable. You know, we're not talking about something as big and boozy as like the Fire Ant Imperial Red Ale we do at the brewery. So a little more sessionable.
Where's that at?
8.
8. Okay.
So it's a big boy. So you know, this one's a little more sessionable. Let's get right in. Let's get
Cheers.
right into it. Ooh boy.
I love the can with the gauntlet and the flame.
Yeah, no doubt.
So much steeped in history.
Yeah.
There's so much history.
Old world.
Meets new.
Uh-huh.
Key City beers are crafted to reduce gluten, and I prove it because I'm Drew Wooten. It rhymes, so you know it's true.
Share with friends.
Share with friends.
We're doing that.
I want to hear what you taste.
Where we had a lager, a dark lager with the Bockslider here. We've got a red ale here, so back on the L kick here. Just a quick little like tidbit on that. Lagers ferment cold on the bottom of the tank, and L's usually ferment warmer at the top of the tank. So they both make beers, but you know, that's kind of the two biggest like divergence in beer, lagers and L's. And you know, hops, grain, water, all that's the same. It's really just kind of the yeast and where it's from and how it actually like performs and its kind of physical traits. So we're back on the L kick here. When I taste this beer, this tastes like a very like traditional like Irish red to me. I get a hint of chocolate going on there. I don't know if you kind of picked up that. So don't think like candy bar chocolate, like not milk chocolate. Think like baker's chocolate. So it's almost like a bitter chocolate.
I did not get that.
You didn't get that?
Dude, I don't.
Taste it again.
I mean,
now think chocolate.
Now you telling me, but that's cheating. You gave me the answers before the test.
Yeah.
It doesn't count. That's what I'm saying. It's so cool because you're going.
I'm still gonna pass you.
But this is the whole point of the show is that I'll taste it and go, I like it, but I don't know why I like it. And then you go, no, man, try chocolate, not milk chocolate or dark chocolate, baker's chocolate. What the hell? And then I'm gonna taste it, and then
You get a little bit of chocolate on the back of your tongue.
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah. You're right. But that's crazy. I would not have gotten to that on my own.
So one of the key ingredients, in my opinion, for all red ales, whether they're like made in America, they're Irish, whatever, is some roasted barley. Grain, we're talking about barley. Roasted barley is basically been kilned or roasted to the point where it's almost burnt. I mean, we're talking about this grain is like pitch black, can be very astringent. So there's all kinds of techniques to get some of the color and slight flavorness without some of the astringency that you would normally get with that. So a lot of big stouts, imperial stouts, big American stouts, they're going to use that roasted barley because you want that like kind of burntness for some of those really dark black beers. For something like the red ale, you're just looking for a little bit of color. So we use a technique called cold steeping. So you're going to add that grain in at a very specific time in the process. Well, you basically just have a little bit of water washing over it. So you're kind of pulling some of the color off without pulling some of those harsher flavors that you would actually purposely try to get on a darker beer.
Oh, cool, man. That's fascinating.
So once again, you know, pretty typical with the Bock as well. Probably using some very similar hops, you know, probably very herbal, noble-esque hops, you know, nothing super fruity on the hop end like you would see in an IPA or something like that. But, you know, once again, just like this beer, these are both very balanced beers. I would say that they're both very complex. I could drink this beer like on a very regular basis this time of year. This is a nice outside weather drinking beer for me.
O'Hanrahan's Curse is a beer for watching the leaves fall.
No doubt. I mean, at 5.8%, you know, after 2 or 3 of them, you're probably really going to like that. You know, when you first sit down, you're like, oh, I'm watching the leaves fall down. You drink a couple of these and you're like, I'm going to come out here tomorrow and watch the leaves fall.
Fascinating. Nature.
You know, nature.
You think about Earth, how fast we're moving, the vacuum of space. We talked about aliens last episode.
I was about to say, where's the aliens plug?
I mean, they're real, they're here, but I don't want to get on a tangent because that's a different show.
They're probably brewing your beer, let's be honest.
Who do you think invented it?
Mm-hmm.
Ancient aliens?
Mm-hmm.
Cheers, man. Cheers. This is delicious. Oh, what's that? You said you wanted a garage tip?
No.
This week's garage tip comes from Steve McAllister at Versus Strength and Conditioning. Steve, help us get fit.
Garage tip. Go get ready for dinner. Take the puppy. Core. Yes, you can do sit-ups, you can do plank holds, but one of the forgotten movements that pops up in your life a good bit, especially if you go to the grocery store, is a farmer's carry. And you'll use a dumbbell, and we'll demo this movement in a little bit, but if you don't have one of these, you're not gonna believe this. You've got multiple things in your garage. I just happen to have, oh my Lord, a blower. This guy, you're gonna hold on one side of your body, brace your core, and take it for the lovely stroll of your lifetime. And then, after you finish, make sure you gotta do both sides, because who wants a muscle imbalance? That's lame. Core. These are kind of dusty. Have you used these in a while?
Garage tip. That was a great tip. What do you have next?
Good garage tip. Let's get back to the beer here. All right. Oh my goodness.
This is, Cody Ruth, if you're watching, you know.
This is Rogue Dead Guy. This used to be my go-to beer before all the beer laws in the state changed. And this was kind of the only cool thing you could get. You could find this in Red Stripe and Newcastle. And I used to drink so much of this beer. It is near and dear to me. This is Rogue Dead Guy. It's actually a Maybach style. So you might be hearing that keyword Bock. If you remember Bockslider, we said, hey, that's like a robust or really strong lager, strongly flavored lager. This is a Maybach, so kind of like a subcategory off the Bock. But this is actually an ale, so they're kind of just using some of the foundation or meat and potatoes, so to speak, of what a Bock would be, and then using an ale yeast. What does a Maybach do? What is it? How does it taste? What is it for? Well, typically they tend to be very hoppy bocks. It really just means March beer. So it's something that in Germany, Bavaria, you would brew in the springtime to kind of get you through the rest of the year. Hops are naturally aseptic, so they help with shelf life in the beer a long time ago, at least. So now we just kind of use hops for flavors, but there was a purpose for hops in the beginning, and that was to basically help out with shelf life.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Preserving the beer. So Rogue Dead Guy, let's crack it open.
Man, Rogue Dead Guy Ale.
This beer's been around for as long as some viewers have been alive. I mean, we're talking 35 years or something like that.
It's so good.
30, 35 years. This is a OG Americana beer right here. This thing has been around forever. It is straight up.
Cheers, man.
One of my favorites.
So my buddy Cody Ruth, musician, great bass player. One time we played a gig in downtown Hattiesburg and we got paid in Rogue Dead Guy Ale. It was a whole keg.
Seems fair to me.
We had one of the most epic nights. And it was nothing bad happened. It was just the most fun. And it's one of those, it'll always remind you of your youth.
I think we've progressively gotten more intense for a reason today. This would be the most hoppy out of all the three. Still a pretty fairly rounded out beer as far as the malt intensity and the hop. But it definitely is leaning more hoppy than anything else that we've had today. But yeah, you get that just classic maltiness in there. It's a little earthy. It is a little heavy. This is I kind of want to put a jacket on after having this, because I think winter's coming.
I'll say I'm glad I have one on.
Yeah.
What do you taste when you sip on this?
So for me, this is more about the herbaceousness of the hops and less about some of the malts that were kind of really shining on these other two. Yeah, this has got a probably a mahogany hue to it, kind of reddish. But for me, it's definitely the hops that are kind of shining out on this one. I get a little bit of that a little bit of malt on the middle of my tongue, kind of halfway through the sip there, but it's definitely hop, some bitterness up front from the hop, and then some herbalness from the hop on like the back end. Get a little bit of fruitiness, get a little bit of that same kind of nutty note that you kind of get from all of these, whether it's not really pecan. To me, it's more of just like a generalized nut. Now, there's some beers you can really kind of get specific with them. It's like, well, that's kind of like almond or pecan. This is kind of just more of a
mixed nuts.
It's mixed nuts.
Herbaceous, man. That needs to be on like the butt of sweatpants.
Hell yeah.
Herbaceous?
Hell yeah.
Forget juicy.
Let's make $1 million in Panama City.
I'm herbaceous.
Herbaceous.
It's wordy, but it works.
No doubt.
Is the nutty flavor, because that's in all three of these now, is that kind of how you indicate fall flavor-wise? That makes you feel like it's October, because everyone jokes about, oh, it's pumpkin spice season, that kind of thing. But the nuttiness is the summer's over. Let's chestnuts roasting by an open fire.
No doubt, or at least like finding the chestnuts to put over the open fire. So we're not quite there like winter months, but it's like just kind of like some of that caramel, some of that nuttiness. Like that's kind of a through line in a lot of these beers today.
Yeah. Man, this is delicious. I love Rogue Dead Guy.
It's an OG for a reason.
Oh, man.
That was what was interesting today. Got these all at Corner Market. This is New Kid on the Block. Just came into the state from Texas. These are some friends, up the road in state. They've been around probably since like 2018, something like that. And then we've got just like a Grandaddy right here. This is a Papa. Yeah, like this guy's been around forever. Definitely one of the bigger out of the three of these as far as like how much they produce in their reach.
Rogue Dead Guy, you definitely need to be paying your tithes.
No doubt.
Like kiss the ring.
No doubt. Respect.
Yeah, kiss the ring, dude.
Yes.
Bend the knee. Yeah, this is delicious. I love this, man. This is a great trio of beers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hell yeah, man.
Cheers.
This is great. So that's all of them, right?
Mystery beer alert.
Okay. Mystery beer.
I brought you a surprise.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Also, do you care if I swear?
Excuse me? What the fuck did you say?
Okay, all right. I'm just checking. I figure you're over 21 watching this video in the first place.
You should be.
I can fucking say what I want to.
We're about to have a heyday with this. We might get some looks.
Okay. What's this?
I don't know if this is going to be a thing, but it seems like our mystery beers are in the budget beer category, as I would call them. These are all craft. These all cost hard-earned dollars, dineros. Mm-hmm. It seems like, last week we had Michelob Ultra, which, obviously...
Dude, I got you so good.
You got me.
With Michelob.
I got Ultra. We've had so many people reach out to us and tell us that, they're Ultra and they're friends now after watching last week's episode. It's this whole thing. Like,
it's such a burden, our influence being so broad. Okay, anyway, we're kidding.
This is definitely like positioned right in the like middle, New Kid on the Block in the budget beer category. So when I say budget beer, I'm talking about the Natty Lights, the Keystone Lights, the Old Milwaukees.
You have access to a volleyball court at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in college.
So Outlaw. So y'all don't get mad at us. There's this guy named Hardy. He's kind of rap. He's kind of country.
He's kind of growly too.
I don't know a ton about him.
Yeah.
But apparently he is part owner and kind of like spokesperson for this beer. So this beer is made out of Denver. Hardy is from Mississippi, so that's kind of why I brought this beer in.
Did we name our main street in Hattiesburg after him?
I think so, yeah.
Judges? Yeah. Yeah.
Checks out.
Checks out. True fact.
You know what? I'm not mad at this. I think that, notice I'm setting it down right here. I'm not mad at that. I think it's good. That's a joke. It's fine. It just tastes like bubble water. This is made out of Colorado. Man, I'm seeing so many of these pop up. Like, no lie.
Just light beers, different light beers?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was looking this up earlier this week, because I seen it, I was like, what the hell is this? And I'm looking at it. Dude, there's like places across the country that are selling like a suitcase of this for like $14. Like, I'm not like using the word budget beer to like in a negative way. It's actually,
no, that's how it's priced.
It's priced in a budget category.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing a bunch of those pop up right now, and I think that's it's just a thing right now. I mean, obviously you can't put a lot of quality ingredients in something you're charging so little for, but that might not be what you're wanting during that, like, for that drinking experience. You know, hop on the pontoon boat and it's like, hey, like, you know, we're not trying to crush a bunch of red L's necessarily. Maybe you are. Maybe you're a lunatic and maybe you want to drink 6 red L's out in the sun on the pontoon boat. I don't know. I think I'd probably rather drink a couple of these, you know.
Complexity is going to be really low.
Super low.
Crushability will be high.
Super high.
So consistency of, I think we haven't been clear on consistency. The consistency of the beer will be lighter and like thinner basically. But the consistency on which I want to consume it is a lot higher. I mean, that's really like that's the same pretty much as crushability. How do you balance like lots of good taste versus people who really, they're not after the taste, they're after how they feel, they're after the head change, you know, and then then really just becomes a game of, well, why would I spend a lot of money on beer if I really don't care about the taste? I just want to feel good.
Well, I think then that this product's for you. You know, I think everybody kind of has different needs, and you've got some people that want different experiences at different times.
Yeah.
You know, in a perfect world, you're like, hey, let me go get a pick 6 and get some of this stuff. And then I got a 6-pack of this if you're really just trying to drink that many beers at a time. Don't get me wrong, just like we were talking last week, there's definitely a time and place for something like this, just like there's a time and place for something like this. And, you know, I'm not out to change anybody's like taste or mind.
I am.
If someone's like, oh, I don't like this, I make lots of beers. I'm like, well, just try another one. You know, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you like, hey, you're wrong. You should like that. It's like, well, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. Like, move on.
And it's very mature of you.
It's my job just to give them a lot of different options to try. Now, you know, if someone's like, hey, I don't like anything that you make. I don't like any craft beer. It's like, it's okay not to be into craft beer.
Yeah, that's fine.
You don't have to like craft beer.
You don't have to be cool either. Being a man's not for everyone.
I'll cheers to that. So, Mississippi native, gone rogue, got him a budget beer that's made out of Colorado. They're definitely going after...
You can taste the altitude.
I can for sure. You know what I can taste in this? Duck camo and trucker hats. Not that there's anything wrong with either one of those, but that's what's going on here.
Both of those are a whole vibe.
You know what I think is really interesting about this whole like can is if this was across the room, it's got like a Busch vibe to it.
Yeah.
Which is also another budget beer. So, you know, is this just kind of like the trendier or the trending or trendy Busch version of that? I don't know. I think it tastes better than Busch.
I like the topography happening. Our friend T.I. would love this because he likes maps. We see you, T.I., friend of the show. Yeah, it's good. I think I'm going to go back to my dead guy, though.
I'm going to go back to the Bockslider because I think that from complexity and crushability today, this is kind of like at that perfect point. It's not as complex as the Red L here, the Key City beer. It's obviously way more complex than the Outlaw. I've had Dead Guy like 8,000 times. So I'm going to try this.
So you've been more consistent with that. Okay, let's wrap it up. The show is a work in progress. We want to do this at the end of every show now. Let's give a crushability, a complexity, and a consistency score for each beer. First with the Bockslider. Crushability out of 10, 1 to 10.
Oh boy, crushability. I'm saying that this is like a 7 for me.
Oh yeah. Okay. Complexity.
I'm kind of putting it at like a 5 or a 6.
Okay. And then consistency. How often you would want to go and buy that from Corner Market?
I would think that is like a 6 as well, maybe a 7.
Killer. All right. Crushability for O'Hanrahan's Curse.
4.
Okay. Complexity.
8.
Okay, and then consistency.
7. This time of year, that's a go-to right there.
All right, and then Rogue Dead Guy Ale.
Crushability, I would say, is like a 6.
Okay, complexity.
6.
And then consistency.
6.
Oh. Dead Guy went to HE double hockey stick.
It's ABV's like 6.66, I think, or at least 6.6. I threw the other 6 on there. Did you just get the shivers?
I did. Yeah. All right. And then Outlaw Hardy's beer. He has a street here in our hometown of Hattiesburg.
Hey, anybody in Mississippi doing cool things, shout out.
If you're great, you get hate. Okay, crushability.
Like a 9.
Complexity.
Like a 1.
And then consistency.
5.
Yeah. However many times you get to go on a boat.
This time of year, it's getting to be lower.
Yeah.
Summertime, I'm probably like picking that up a little bit more.
Let's put that boost budget high in April. April and May.
We are actively trying to change the weather by thinking that it's getting colder right now. You're wearing a jacket. I'm the season whisperer. We are actively like ritualistically trying to change the weather right now.
Yeah.
It's not working.
There's a cauldron off screen.
But we're hoping.
I'm a manifestor. I know from my star chart. So if I say it's cold, it will become cold.
I haven't had a chance to look up what star chart is, but I am going to do that. So episode 3, like I'm going to let you know what mine is about.
This is Season Whisperer.
Yeah.
And then episode 3 is the star chart.
Perfect.
We'll read your results.
Perfect.
Online. It'll be great.
Nice.